What's going on? I had a whole bunch of people writing to me on YouTube, so I thought maybe I'd hop on here and see if I could answer any quick questions. I'll only be on here for a short amount of time if it's not that many. But I got like 30 or 40 messages in the past 20 minutes. Help from Australia. What's going on? What can I help you with? Of course, man. Hello. All right, yeah, good. I'm glad things are okay. Any questions? Thanks, guys. Yeah, I appreciate that. I try my best to put out like really good stuff so that when you guys at some point want to buy something from me, it's good stuff. Like my stuff is good. I'm always making sure that I'm putting out things that I would want to see if I was watching uh, instructionals. So I make sure I'm a fan of my stuff so that I'm actually able to help, and then I figure out what people need as far as help. So I try to make sure I give what people need and then also stuff that people want. Sometimes that doesn't always coincide. So the best tip for a rear naked choke is to continually filter your hands and pummeling your hands underneath the neck. You want to just constantly attack the neck until you can get underneath the chin. Then once you get underneath the chin, it's all about getting your hand to the back of the scapula. Um, I have a little trick somewhere on there where I put it to here and then I punch through. That's one of my best tricks, and it always works to get the choke. You do against someone that does well in side control with keeping their elbows in, but also keeps their knee to prevent. Go to Neon Belly. Neon Belly is what opens up people for arm bars and uh, for people. Yeah, Neon Belly is a movement oriented thing. So when you can move around and be mobile, you can attack the back, you can attack the arms, and so on. Yeah, man, swing by the gym. You're more than welcome to come by the gym. Heel hook tips for escape and setting. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really a leg lock guy, but of course I have some stuff there. But I'm not like this new school leg lock stuff. Um, I I stay up on it to make sure that I'm not falling behind, but I'm not like a huge uh, fan of it. Not a fan of it. I'm just it's not my game. Uh, yep, South Carolina. Anytime, Frank. How do I scroll up? Uh, no problem. How do you maintain mount? Well, there's three different uh, types of mount: high mount, low mount, and mid mount. Low mount is where I would place my feet together, like I'm praying, like my feet are praying, and I'm dropping my hips into their hips. That's really good for control. Mid mount, I'm looking to be more mobile, so I'm looking to maybe slide off into neon belly, or I'm looking to attack different things. And then sometimes high mount is the hardest mount to get somebody off of you. So if you can slide your knees up high underneath the armpits and the hands go up way high, then you have a lot of arms to attack, and it's also very hard to get that person off of you in a high mount. So I would say either low mount or high mount. Mid mount, I'm looking for neon belly, and I'm looking for them to make a mistake so that I can maybe go to the back. I'm always up for giving words of wisdom. I mean, if I have it, if I know it, and I can help it, I'll do it. What's happening? Your guess is as good as mine, Owen. anything's happening. Anything could happen. I was doing some work, and I was like, okay, I'm going to reply to some people, and then a whole bunch of people replied to me, and like I got like 40 replies in my mailbox. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll start a live. Let me get myself a drink here. That was stupid. Hold on, guys. I'm almost about to drop a milk carton. God damn. Okay. Yes, I usually go to Kesa-Gatame from Side Control. It's probably the easiest way to control somebody, and then also it sets up a lot of pinning the arms. So like putting your shin over top of the arms and pinning, that Kesa-Gatame allows you to do that really well. Sorry, got my face in the camera. I just got some drinks. Hey, thank you, Owen. Mindset for a blue belt after a year off. Go in there, take your whoopings because you decided you had to take a year off, and try to do your best to get back on course fast. That's the truth of it. I mean, the truth of it is that you took a year off, and it's going to be rough. But if you go in there with a competitive mindset, and you go in there to learn as fast as you can, I mean, there's guys that get very, very good in a year. So it's not to say that you couldn't get to a purple belt in a year if you worked your ass off. Highest percentage takedown, single leg. I mean, doubles are hard to hit, just because doubles aren't hard to hit. They're just more rare. I would say that when you're grappling with the gi, the single leg presents itself more, and especially when you're grappling no gi, it's always easier to get one leg and then to chain those together. Man, and pick up jiu-jitsu, dude. I mean, you might really enjoy it. That's what I say, man. Like, do your best to try to make sure that you you're taking care of yourself in your mentality and your mental state. Like, jiu-jitsu is a healthy activity where you have friends and you push yourself to learn. So I think it's one of those things that you always got to have something out there like that for yourself, whether it's woodworking or jiu-jitsu or taekwondo. My go-to so far is side control to reverse Kesa-Gatame to mount. Yeah, dude, listen, that's a good flow. That is a proper way to go to mount. And the more you do that, the reverse Kesa to mount, the better you'll get at it. And that's the correct way you're supposed to go to mount. What's a good way to go from a failed loop choke? Just keep trying to roll through on the loop. So if you keep missing the loop, you can kind of reattach the loop again and try to get to a top position. So I would say wait until they roll through to they hit their back hits the mat, and then bridge to where you get on top of them so that you're able to pin them and you're still able to have a top position. I mean, I have no idea what to tell you, Marco. Um, if Jesus Christ, if finding Jesus Christ is making you not want to train and want to learn the Bible, then I guess that's what Jesus Christ wants for you. I have no clue. That's never come up in my mind. I've never had a moment where, like, I'm, I- I'm not trying to talk to anybody about religion or anything like that, but I mean, it's up to you. If you want to devote yourself to Jesus Christ, go for it. Um, there's a lot of people that do that. Yeah, I mean, whatever these guys are saying, it's really your decision. I mean, like if 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 God is preventing you from, if Jesus is preventing you from being with God, then that's what it is. It's when the guys play secular music, it really messes. I mean, you're a grown adult, Marco, and I think you know that you don't always control the music. You don't always control the what's going on, and you can't, right? You can't control if you're out in public. You can't control certain aspects of life, and you shouldn't want to, right? You shouldn't want everything to have to be like, well, this has to be Christian music or this has to be like this. No, just ignore that stuff. Like ignore the stuff. Do what you're supposed to do. Nobody's asking. Like when rap comes on, nobody is forcing me to become a rap fan or like turn that off in your head. I don't even hear music when I train. So I try not to even train with music. Everybody has to ask me to hey, can you put the music on? And I don't ever realize that the music's not even on because I don't hear music when I'm training. So I don't know, maybe get earplugs. You can do that too. My issue with jiu-jitsu is that you always have to be in too close of a proximity body to body to defend or offense. So what do you mean, Owen? What's wrong with you don't want to be too close to somebody? Um, Thank you so much, Kawhi. Uh, I'm I'm always trying to put out good stuff that people would enjoy and like, um, so that uh, that you guys one day, if you guys want to get an instructional or you sign up to my website, that that you're getting good stuff. Karate, kung fu, offense techniques, distance without body to body closeness. I mean, if you have a weird thing with being too body to body close to it with somebody, then I guess that's an issue. I mean, right? That's an issue. If you don't want somebody grabbing you and holding you and you're uncomfortable, well, then there's no answer there. My go-to grips, I let everybody make their grips first. But like you have to. It feels like you always need to be the aggressor in BJJ, make the first move. No, uh, I walk into people's grips, and then I make my counter grips. So if I'm passing, I let them pretty much set their guard up, and then I'll work on it. And if they're stepping, if I'm playing bottom, I get a sleeve and a pant grip usually, and I'll go from there. Yeah, I mean, what do you mean by taking a toll on you? Is it being that you're getting injured? Like I mean, I listen. I have three spine surgeries, so I kind of get it. Um, you can always uh, you can always uh, regulate your training. So maybe the 2 hours a day is good, but maybe 30 minutes of it should be hard training, maybe 45 minutes of it hard training, and the rest of it should be drilling and practicing and going over positions and stuff like that. A lot of it's this stuff, you know what I mean? So you got to more, yeah. So here's the problem, Owen. If you don't if you don't understand how to deal with somebody's body mechanics because you don't want to ever be that close, that means you're fucked. You're in trouble. Like, dude, if because if I grab you, you're done. because you never practiced how to deal with it. So you really want to learn body mechanics, because if somebody grabs me, I'm pretty confident that I know all I can get the person off of me. I can put space between us. Yeah, that's the issue. You got to learn if the only issue of you're vulnerable in a position of closeness is that when you don't know how to deal with somebody who's close to you or grabbing you, which is the opposite of what jiu-jitsu is. Our retention is pretty solid. Do you have an issue with somebody who's a good bottom player, especially if my arsenal is mostly triangle Kimura setups? So I stand. So you're going to play guard for me for how long, but you're not going to be, I'm not going to be down on my knees allowing you to play triangles or Kimura setups. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to open your guard. And I'm going to force you to play a more modern game. So I'm not really concerned. So that's what you got to be. Yeah, that's what you have to know. Like, your guard retention is solid for people that are on their knees, right? Those are all knee, like off your knee attacks. I'm not going to, like, I'm going to stand. Most people will, most guard passers will stand. I train 7 to 10 times a week, 30 years old, blue belt. Your tutorials, Donner. Well, that's awesome, man. I appreciate that you guys are pulling out my stuff uh, and using it, and sharing it. That's awesome. That's really cool. I'm glad to be in the same name as Donaher and those guys. Thank you, Holy Old Path. Oh, Goblino, thank you. Last four persons were fired. Now the main coach is a purple belt. I'm also a purple belt. I don't want to leave the gym. Gym owner is a black belt but never shows up. Man, I think you need a new gym, Marco. If four professors are fired, depends. It just depends on what's going on. The main coach is a purple belt. You're also a purple belt, but the gym owner is a black belt and never shows up. I mean, were they fired for a good reason? That's the question. Head caught a lot in Darce and guillotine. Should I keep my ear to their chest more often, or are there any good habits if that were to occur? So if you're playing half guard, the Darce is play knee shield, right? So Marco, are you playing a knee shield? That's what you should do. If you're not playing knee shield, that's what you got to do. I just started. I can only train twice a week. I should be focusing. You should pick at least 1 to 2 techniques and drill the hell out of it as much as you can, Devin, because you don't have very much time to train. So you have to really focus on 1 or 2 things so that you can actually get those things as a part of your inventory. I like passing guard by trapping one of their arms, standing up, same side leg. Yeah, I do the same thing. I'll go Bolino. Yeah, I stand up, I pass, and I open up the guard, and I make them play Deli Heave or Spider or whatever they're gonna do. Any tips for healing from an ACL injury? Man, I wish I healed better than I do. I mean, I have 3 neck surgeries, and I'm still in a lot of pain. I have a meniscus surgery, 2 meniscus surgeries. I would say the tips for not for healing. I can't tell you how to heal. What I can tell you is how to get better when you're hurt, right? When you're injured and you're hurt and you're not feeling good, how do you get better? You take notes, you show up to class regardless, you study like a crazy person, you do tons of visualization, you watch instructionals, you write the things down, you visualize all of those things, you go in with one of your partners and you take care of the ACL. You make sure that that's not in any danger, and you try to, move around it and work some of the things that you can do. So that's what you should. That's what you should be doing. Um, yeah, to get better. I get better after every injury. I'm not saying that I heal after every injury, but I get better with my jiu-jitsu. Get technical. I tend to have a big problem with when I either go for deep half or something. So, knee shield, get your knee shield better. I have a really good. So if you go Black Label or no, excuse me, madlabbjj.com and you sign up for the annual membership, you get a free knee shield half guard defense series. It has like 30 it has like 30 techniques in that one series. I have over 90 techniques in both series, the offense and defense. But man, that's what I would do. Like honest to God, it's one of my best instructionals I've ever put out. I'm reshooting it for a number of reasons, but the one you get if you're an annual member is insanely good. Nobody's going to pass your knee shield if you know it. If if you download that part, you'll never get your knee shield passed. Yes, exactly. Goblino. Goblino. Only I hear you, but most folks practicing jiu-jitsu grappling have serious issues defending themselves against a massive. No way, dude. Like Owen, who would what jiu-jitsu person would have a problem with a bodybuilder? No way. Have you watched that bodybuilder and the nerd from Joe Rogan almost swept him twice? And that guy doesn't even train jiu-jitsu really. That guy's like a likes boxing. Trust me, no bodybuilder is going to do shit. Trust me, I can tell you 100%, man. You do a year of jiu-jitsu, you will beat anybody who has not done a year of jiu-jitsu. Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't usually I don't do um I don't know who to watch, Robert P. I know that I got my instructional out there and that's not a lot of people are playing off their knees anymore, but my instructional on my madlabbjj.com is dope, super dope. Um and then this question, so most seminars I usually don't so I hate so I work all throughout the week. I do a lot of stuff, with my business and my gym and everything else, and then I have a little bit of time to go home and see my wife. And sometimes the weekend is the only time I get. So I don't really do seminars too much. If somebody like somehow if I can work something out around some time and I can get in and out of there easy, yeah, I'll do it. But nobody ever, I get interest for seminars, but nobody ever uh, is like pulls the trigger on it fast. Like, hey, I'll fly you in, I'll fly you back out that same day, and I'll pay you a good amount of money so that it's the time you spent away from your family. You it's paid for. So sometimes I do seminars, sometimes I don't because of those reasons. I trained all around the world, uh, or all around the United States. I've opened my gym back in my hometown of Charleston, South Carolina, for the past 8.5 years. Um, but I was in Florida at Top Team. I was in Oregon with Quest. I was in Vegas when they had the Zions Training Center. I was in New Jersey with Henzo and a couple different other uh, people. So I was all around the world, all around the United States, not the world. Yeah, dude, do jujitsu. Just sign up for a BJJ class. Do it. You'll love it, man. Yeah, dude. If you get my instructions, so listen. If you sign up for an annual membership, you'll get like over 800 videos, right? And on top of the annual membership, you get that instructional for free. And then you get two other instructionals for free. So you get like my Darce Killer or you get the Heisengard or whatever you want. So yeah, trust me, you definitely want like if you're gonna go on my site and you're gonna get the instructional, you might as well get the annual membership because you're gonna get a ton of stuff from me. I hear you. Well rounded. I feel more well rounded and comfortable from with a combination of all. Yeah, sure. I mean, listen, man. I fought mixed martial arts, right? I I I learned how to box and kickbox and do all these other things, but grappling is that weird in between outlier that is if somebody doesn't know, it becomes quickly apparent when they're grabbed. Thank you. I'll make sure to do my research. Also, a training partner I go against gets me in a mirror lock when I knee slide. I'm advancing. Yeah, so underhook should be lower on the hip. Well, everybody thinks underhook should be high underneath the armpit, but you're exposing yourself too much. So try to latch onto the hip when you knee slide and then rewind the hips with walking backwards. I have, I'm not a Marine, so, but, and I have never done capoeira, but it is 100% possible that we've ran into each other, possibly. I've been around a lot of people. Okay. I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, like, I was in Oregon, I was in California, I was in Vegas, I was in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Florida, and then Charleston, South Carolina. Has wrestling taught by an actual wrestler? Any tips on how to wrestle properly? Yeah, if you have found a BJJ school that has a wrestling taught by an actual wrestler, then I would listen to him. I mean, it depends how good of a wrestler he is. Is he D1? Is he high school wrestler? Is he? I mean, it all depends on how good a wrestler. But learn how to wrestle from him. I mean, I'm not a wrestler. I learned all my wrestling from other wrestlers. Yes, I know the Wolfpack and Roger Crawl. Should I use my arm on the hip as a wedge as I walk by? Yes, you should. Good night, Optimus Frank. I'm probably going to turn in soon as well. Just thought I would bounce on here real quick because I saw so many people were messaging me. Dude, listen, my takedowns, like, look up John Smith. I mean, there's so many people that are better than me at takedowns that sometimes I just don't do it. Like, Shalom. Uh, what defines a great school or a great training experience? Well, number one, a great school is somebody that has a great culture. The culture should be that is everybody has the potential to be great. And if your coach treats you as a white belt, as the potential to be great, and treats everybody correctly and doesn't hide techniques or just hang out with the guys that know more stuff or the brown belts or purple belts, that's like a frat boy culture. And I hate that type of shit. It's, because most times the frat boys are idiots and suck anyways. They just got that purple belt because they're a little bit scrappy. I want a place that it's gonna make me that the guy with autism can flourish. The guy with that people that are different can come together, and then you got to have a coach that really, 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 really knows what he's doing and also wants you to get good and treats you as such. So, I mean, that's the thing. I want all my students to get good, and I want all my students to have the same ability, uh, the same opportunity to become great if they choose so. Add me on IG. Yeah, I'm on. I do more IG than anything else. I mean, 4 classes a week. That's not a lot of jujitsu. That doesn't sound like a jujitsu school. They should have jujitsu all the time. Stay safe. Thank you. You as well, brother. I just got my 2 stripes on my white belt, and I was thinking about my first tournament. I'm 14. Do you think that would be good for me? If losing would would make you rethink about training or would take away the enjoyment of jiu-jitsu, then it's too early. If you are looking at a first tournament like, hey, I want to explore and experiment and see what happens, and you have a good attitude about it and you have a realistic attitude about it, then yeah, you should be fine. I mean, bone injuries. I mean, I have more spine injuries than any, so it's not bone, it's disc, and that's probably from uh, screw. Listen, if your old coach did that, I mean, he was super good. He wasn't fucking super good. There's plenty of guys that are super good, man. There's like, as a coach, you're super good. Of course, you walk on the mat, you're better than everybody. You're the coach, but that doesn't make him fucking good. Trust me. Uh, I have a black belt in class that go really, really mellow and like basically just lay there like a sloth for some reason. It intimidates me when he does that, so I go super light. Um, tell him, tell him that you go super light because it's kind of you don't really know what to do because he's kind of playing possum or whatever, and he's probably, he can probably talk you through it and be like, yeah, no, go hard, try to get this, or just ask him. Be if you're in a gym where you can't like speak about something or you can't bring something up, be like, hey, when I go with you, it's like really weird because you don't really do anything, and so I don't really know what to do to you because uh, I'm trying to be respectful. I'm not trying to overstep my bounds or go too hard because you're going easy, and he'll tell you what to do. I mean, that's the truth. He'll tell you what to do, and hopefully he's a cool guy and he's just can answer your question. Thank you for taking the time to answer my questions. I will definitely subscribe to your site and do my research. Until next time, I'll have more questions. You have a great one, Marco. Yeah, Trey. Let me see what I was talking to you about. You're on here somewhere. Yeah, you gotta train if you want to train more. Yeah, I mean, like that's not your fault that you know that they're doing that. That's not your fault that they don't have enough classes. I train with 2 blue belts and we drill and do private lessons outside of class. Any positions or material you think you should work on as blue belts? You should be getting into your more so as blue belts you should know your more hybrid guards. So you should definitely know Deli Hiva, reverse Deli Hiva, some spider guard stuff, deep half guard. Those are things that you should have like a little bit of reach at into. Like you should have like three to four things from each position from the guard and 3 or 4 positions from attacking that guard. Have a good night, Robert. Yes, thank you, sir. Of course, Logan, no problem. No problem, Kawhi. I hope the guy's cool about it. You know what I mean? Like, he should be. I mean, I'm never going to take anybody as an insult as long as they talk to me respectfully, and they ask the question. Then I'm like, that's an easy one. Like ask me a question. Ask me why I'm doing what I'm doing. Ask me why I'm doing this or and as long as people are respectful, I think that's the biggest key to anything in life. And if the guy's an asshole, then fuck, you might be in the wrong gym or fuck him. Don't train with him. I mean, I've been doing this for 24 years. I try my best to be innovative, and I try my best to have things that I understand that came to me from training so much. Um, and a lot of things like my body's figured out how things work, and once your body starts figuring out how things work, you can expand upon what you've already known, and you can uh, start to share with people the things that you find and the mechanics that you find that make the move work better for you, and hopefully it works better for other people. Just sitting there and thinking, like I try my best to uh, think about things that are common, but then also not so common. So I think of something common, but here's an uncommon answer. Uh, Thank you, Michael. Yeah, man, I try my best to make sure that things are quickly put out to you guys and that you guys are getting good information and and it's something I'm proud of. Like so I don't put out shit that I'm not proud of. And like once or twice there's been something that slipped out. Somebody filmed it. I said, "Hey, I don't want that on there," and it came out anyways. And I was pissed because when I give you guys stuff, I want it to be 100% fucking good stuff. Yeah, Owen, no problem, man. I really appreciate Yeah, I really appreciate you following me and being uh, a fan of mine and just helping me out, trying to get my stuff out to people. So yeah, so Dev, I just made a video about being a first time competitor. It's not a short, it's a video. And I shot that and I tried to give out some techniques as well as some things that you should be doing strategically and for your brain, like Gablino, to always come back to the channel to refresh my memory on something. Well, thank you, man. Yeah, that's one of the things is save things, write things down, visualize them. Like you're always going to be trying to make things better. And sometimes you'll kind of, it'll work for you. And then you'll find out there's a problem. You'll find out that you missed like one mechanical detail and you can add to it. And it's just beautiful. That's the way things happen. To apply what I see, but need access to regular practice to be able. I understand, Nathan, man. Then you need to get with a good gym, um, a good group of people that want to train and drill as hard as you want to. It's a hard time not using my strength and explosive moves. Being a blue belt with 2 stripes, I finally feel like I'm getting better, not being so aggressive. Any insight? Yeah. I mean, if you're not having to be explosive anymore, that's really good. You should. So, explosive and aggressive and all these things that and strength. These are all things that don't tie into efficiency, right? So being efficient means doing the least amount of work and getting the most amount of value out of it. So that would be where you're making some mistakes. Being explosive is great. That's part of being an athlete. And when you do a sport, being an athlete is fantastic. You want to be an athlete, but you also want to be able to know when, like, so Serena Williams isn't always going to be hitting the ball like a fucking crazy person. Sometimes she's just serving, she's setting things up because she's efficiently amazing. When it's time to use the explosion, she's going to use the explosion because that's what it calls for. But in any sport, you don't have like Michael Jordan or you don't have like LeBron James going straight to the hoop for a dunk every single time. There's no way he can continually keep that up. So he's got to work on his, boxing out plays, getting him the ball at the right time. Then he can explode to the rim. Same kind of thing. Shoot me one or two more questions, guys, and I'll wrap up. I'm not gonna let this. I'm not gonna keep this live. So I'm gonna, whenever this live is done, I'm going to erase it because I realize that nobody else can read what you guys are writing when I publish them. A week to butt scoot in comp. Nah, I mean like so. Don't butt scoot in competition. Pull a good guard, and um, like there's nothing wrong with pulling. Like I pull De La Hiva or I pull single leg X. And that's if I have to pull. But like you don't need to butt scoot. Guys can't move backwards in competition, right? So if you have to butt scoot more than twice, then that person standing is not he's going to be penalized or he's going to be told to move he can't move backwards. So that's the good thing about somebody that's pulling is that you're not butt scooting because the guy can't butt scoot. The guy can't move away from you. Man, Goblino, I have a million triangle escapes for free on the shorts. Try to get, I mean, like, I probably have like 90 videos of shorts, right? But I have like six at least triangle escapes. So make sure that is something you can do. Would you do a show where you accept video submissions for like Spectre Sound Studios? He accepts $5 submission. Um, I mean, yeah, maybe. I have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time on my hands to be like doing that like crazy. So that could be an issue. if you join my Mad Lab BJJ, I answer questions that are on the madlabbjj.com, that on my forum. If you ask questions on there, you can upload a video to it, and I usually answer that stuff. I'll have to look at that. Sweet, I'll do my research. Any advice for someone who's too passive? How do you change your mindset as a whitey? Stop losing. It's not cool to lose. It's not cool to be the stinkeroonie. So that's my advice for you being passive. Don't be that guy. Don't be everybody's rest round. You know, like, you should want to win. You should want to get better. You win. When you win, you are effectively getting better.
Oh, thanks.
No problem. Thank you so much, Spencer. That's, I really appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, Nathan, I mean, like, I just have way too many things, and I don't want to, like, go off to another thing, and then all of a sudden I'm not doing my, like, if I take my attention away from my site, then yeah, I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying that I don't want to get away from something, and then all of a sudden I neglect the people that are on this spot. Like, I feel like I neglect everybody. Like, I neglect Instagram, I neglect my YouTube people, I don't neglect my Mad Lab subscribers. I make sure I get new stuff to them. But even if I feel like I'm not getting stuff to them fast enough, I feel like I'm neglecting them. So I want to make sure that I'm always getting it to them. Thank you. You're awesome, Nathan. I appreciate the understanding, and thank you, Spencer. I appreciate that. I'm trying to put out as much stuff as possible so that when you want to buy something from me, you know it's fucking great. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being cool. I'm glad I hopped on here and was able to connect with you guys. It's always cool to hear from you guys. Um, like anything else, you can always shoot me messages on my Instagram or something like that, or ask me questions, or like, hey, this is what I want to see. Because sometimes it helps me. Sometimes my brain is stuck on one gear, and you guys can help me switch to a different gear, and maybe it's something I can put out that really helps everybody. I'm not the I'm good at what I do, but I don't always have all the answers. And sometimes you guys have the answers of what you need to see and what you're constantly getting disrupted with, or things that are throwing you guys off. And I can help you guys. So I like to do stuff like that. And that's why I do these lives, to connect with you guys and to kind of understand where you guys are coming from, and questions and just different things. And it helps me kind of vibe with you guys, and put out stuff that you want. So, good night, everybody. El Goblino, good night. Safe rolling. Safety to everybody. Have a good night's sleep. I will see you. I'm going to do an Instagram live. So if you go on my Instagram, I'm going to do an Instagram live tomorrow. And I'll put out a couple other stuff, of course. I'm always putting out stuff. All right, guys. Good night.